Hello, my name's Andrew Whitehouse. Welcome to my video. I'm going to be talking to you today about ADHD and hyperactivity. You may have already seen my video ADHD and attention deficit, which I put on YouTube a couple of weeks ago. So, who am I? Well, I'm a specialist in neurological diversities, in particular ADHD, autism, dyslexia and PDA, and a range of other things. I'm also a TEDx speaker, From Disability to Superpowers, and I'm the author of Andrew and the Magic Giver-ometer, Growing Up with ADHD. This is my book because I was not diagnosed with severe ADHD until my early 50s. And so this is the story of how it was for me growing up with ADHD. This is available on Kindle or paperback through Amazon. Just look up Andrew Whitehouse ADHD. So there are three types of ADHD. The type that has attention deficit, hyperactivity and impulsivity. The type that has attention deficit and impulsivity, and the type that has hyperactive and impulsivity. So there is one type that does not have hyperactivity and two types that do. And obviously those are the ones that I want to be talking about today. Now, for young people in schools, which is most of my work, the biggest problem with hyperactivity is sitting in a classroom. Sitting in a classroom for extended periods can be extremely challenging for pupils and students and people in all other kinds of situations, but particularly looking at schools, sitting in classrooms. We generally say that your attention span with ADHD is your age plus a minute up to the age of 16. Take away a third. That means that this hyperactivity also locks in with that. You would need to move around. If you were 15 years old, then you would need to move around after about 10 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. So your age plus a minute up to the age of 16. So although, again, as I say, that really is talking about attention spans, it's also the hyperactivity. We need to be getting up. We need to be moving about. We need to be doing things. So schools and colleges can be really difficult for people with hyperactivity disorders, including ADHD. If you think about it, what we're asking people to go into an environment and, these people have a difficulty sitting still. If they have attention deficit as well, they have a difficulty paying attention. They might well, as part of their hyperactivity, be very chatty sort of people. So, they're there, they can't sit still, they love to talk to people, and they go into this setting every day and expected to perform successfully. And you can imagine the difficulties that these young people find. And of course, what is more to the point is, not only do they have these difficulties in sitting still, in not talking to people, they also may find themselves getting told off, getting into trouble for it. So what do we need to do to help these people? Well, one of the best things you can do is study breaks. Study breaks, how do we take a study break? Well, regular short study breaks. You may use an alarm or something like that. And every 20, 30 minutes or so, depending on the age or the severity of their hyperactivity, give your child a 5 or 10 minute break, and that gives them the chance to breathe, stretch, refocus, and get back on with what they're supposed to be doing. And this, of course, applies at home when they're doing homework or revision or anything like that, as well as in school. These things not only will help children with hyperactive ADHD, they will also help lots and lots of other children. People of all neurological diversities struggle with paying attention. It's just that people with ADHD and hyperactive ADHD struggle to pay attention more. You need to stretch, you need to get moving. Getting up, moving around can help re-energize the body. It can clear the mind, help reduce any stress that they might be experiencing. So encourage that child, that pupil, that student to get up, stretch, take a short walk around the house, take a short walk around the school, go outside for a few minutes, experience a different temperature. Maybe it's a bit breezy, maybe it's a bit cool, maybe it's a bit sunny, whatever it is, different to in the environment where they've been doing their learning. Get them out there, get them to experience that change. Snacks and drinks. So snacks and drinks, very, very important to have something like a glass of water with them all the time, maybe some dried fruit, something like that. A nutritious snack before studying can help the child stay more focused, provide the energy that they need for a successful study session. And then staying hydrated also helps with the ability to focus. So keep the glasses of water and the water bottles, keep them topped up all the time. Allow fiddle toys. So here, the noise of fiddle toys hitting the ground. I keep this bag with me all the time. Lots and lots of things you can do. Little screwy sort of things like that. Someone flew away. We've got this little watch thing. It's a bit small for me, but they can sit and have a little play with. All sorts of stuff. Little toys that they can fiddle with. They don't really particularly do much. I think this one does have a torch that used to go. Oh no, yeah, it does. It's got a little torch. Maybe we don't want that one too much. Could be a bit disruptive. Things to play with. Have all those fiddle toys. They're really, really helpful. Best place to get the stuff that I find is TTS online, although there are other places. And you do tend to just pick things up when you're out and about. So this is quite a good little Casio watch. It's got little buttons on it for a calculator. Helps you concentrate. Doodling. Doodling can be really good. For some children, doodling can be a problem because it means they're not focusing on what they're supposed to be doing. But some, they find that really, really helpful. So, you know, it keeps that hyperactivity in the fingers, in the hands. You know, you can focus that on a piece of paper, drawing little pictures and what have you. That's really helpful. However, for some young people, when they're doing that, it means they're not listening as well. For some young people, if they've got single attention, the inability to separate the senses, it might be harder for them to do that doodling and to concentrate on their work. And it's up to you or them to work out if that's the right thing for them. And as I say, if it's not the right thing for them, we need another plan, the study breaks, the walking about, that kind of thing. You know, and then ask yourself the question as well, do you actually need to be sitting down? Could you stand up and do your work? Could you have standing up desks and things? I've seen these used quite a lot. Very, very effective. Going outside, maybe playing with a ball, basketball, if you've got a basketball hoop in the garden or in the school, just to go out, have that physical activity to do, throw a few hoops, then come back in, you've got that out of your system, sit down, have a glass of water, have a small piece of fruit, whatever it is you're going to have, and get on with your learning. But that kind of thing is great. Or kicking a ball about in a hall, something like that. Very, very useful, very good strategies to use. You need a space for children to retreat to. You know, if you're at home, let them go off to their bedroom for a few minutes, preferably not with a television on. In a primary classroom, you can have a chill out tent in a corner of the room. In a secondary school, chill out zones could be strategically placed within faculty areas to make them readily accessible. Try and break off by doing something creative. When I say something creative, you know, do some cutting and sticking, or some painting, or some drawing, or something like that, and then go back to it. Be aware when, or you be aware of when they're struggling to sit still and concentrate on this stuff. Be aware and encourage them to be aware. Encourage them to say to you, I need to go for a walk now. I need to get out and about, etc., etc., etc. Hyperactivity can be a symptom of stress and anxiety. If you think about it, when something bad happens to you, you can't sleep. You're tossing and turning in bed, or getting up, pacing up and down. Something's happened and you're bothered about it and it's causing you stress. You become hyperactive. So look at hyperactivity, look at the child and think to yourself, are they being hyperactive because of stress, anxiety, pressures, or is it just hyperactivity? Ask the questions. Is everything okay? What's on your mind? Is there anything I can help you with? Remember that another thing, that hyperactivity can present itself in different situations differently. So I've worked with children who they're fine when they're sitting on the carpet in lessons, but as soon as you move them back to the tables, they become hyperactive. So learn from this and say, well, actually, maybe they prefer to be seated in that way, and that's something that we can arrange for them more so in the future. So learn from that, observe when the thing's going well, when the thing's going not so well. I have a saying, works for me a lot. If something's working well, do more of it, more of what works, less of what doesn't. I mean, here's a good example for you. I was in one particular school, and there were two boys in carpet time rolling about, fiddling with stuff, touching things, messing around with things, and you've got to kind of go, actually, am I going to be able to stop this from happening, or do I need to focus that hyperactivity? Could I get that young person doing the stapling, handing out the books, organising resources for me? If they're going to be moving about, they might as well be moving about in a positive way than moving about in a way that's going to get them told off. And that similarly, we get some that are very hyperactive with their hands, that they're touching things, and we've got the hand up your trouser leg and all the rest of it. Give them something to do with those hands. Give them something to mess with, as I say, in a positive way. Get them taking notes. Get them operating the whiteboard for you, and pressing the buttons on your laptop so your presentations move along. That kind of stuff. And remember, there are two different types of hyperactivity. There are the big movement hyperactivity, the gross motor hyperactivity. Gross motor hyperactivity basically means that you need to be giving them big things to do. These are the people that need to be pacing about. These are the people that need to be throwing a ball. These are the people that need to go out for a long walk or short walk. That's the gross motor hyperactivity. The fine motor are the ones that need to fiddle with things. It might be their feet that are moving about on the floor, or indeed their hands. Could be either, but we really, really want to be recognizing that. And remember that 2/3 of people with ADHD will be presenting with some form of hyperactivity, and so we really need to have something in place to help those young people. So what I want you to do, I want you to go away from this session, and I want you to think to yourself, how can I accommodate hyperactivity for my own children at home or in school, and bearing in mind the fine and the gross motor hyperactivity? How can I accommodate that? What am I going to do to put that in place? And believe me, when you help that child with their hyperactivity, you're helping yourself, because when they're coping, you're coping. So bear that in mind. What are you going to be doing to help? Please stay in touch. It's lovely to hear from you. Remember, please do buy my book, Andrew and the Magic Giver-ometer, Growing Up with ADHD, available from Amazon. Please take a trip over to the website, andrewwhitehouse.co.uk or peoplefirsteducation.co.uk. And please also remember to like and subscribe to these videos. Thank you very much. Have a lovely time.